The New York Yankees have had a very successful start to the season, I shouldn't even say start, a very successful half a season up to this point. And they've had some very good performances, a couple of underwhelming performances, but overall, there's been a lot of good performances from the team and from a bunch of players in general. So we're going to do a Yankees tier list. I'm here with John Barnes. My name is Derek. You're watching Bleacher Brawls, and this is the New York Yankees roster tier list. And let's get straight into it. So here we are, the Yankees tier list. We have all our categories here from S, A, B, C, D, F, and then the bag and groceries tier. If you didn't see the Red Sox one, that was reserved for Matt Barnes. It may be reserved for a certain Yankees player. We'll get into all that a little bit later. But we're going to start here. I think this one's going to be the easiest one. I'll go to John, though. Aaron Judge, where's he going? I think
superstar. I think that's one we can all agree on. No brainer.
Yep. I can drag him up a little bit higher. There we go. So Aaron Judge in the A tier. I don't think that's surprising, right?
S tier.
I mean S tier. Sorry.
How dare you as a Red Sox fan?
You know what I meant. You know what I meant because I put him there.
Yeah.
It was a subtle jab, that backhanded compliment. He's friends with Luke. I know what he's up to.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I was trying to look at my screen, my phone screen, and something popped up, and I was like, oh crap! And because the Rays scored another run against the Red Sox, so yeah, not good. So my head's kind of moving a little quickly, but Judge S tier. I think that's obvious. Next up, JP Sears. I'm going to go to Barnes on this one. Where are you putting Sears?
First glance, JP Sears. I'd say he's right in the C tier. I think that's a healthy spot for him. He's doing what he's got to do. I think he's kind of, not blowing the doors open, but he's not, terrible. So I think he's doing what he's doing. So I think C is fair.
Yeah.
I totally agree. He's come up, he's done his job, but it's not a huge sample size. So a C's fair for what he's done so far.
That sounds good to me. Next up, go back to John. I think this one's kind of another obvious one. Clay Holmes.
Oh yeah, Clay Holmes. I guess you can put him. It's hard. See, this is I think where we're gonna have to define this a little. Is Clay Holmes an A, or are we putting him superstar level at Judge? Because he has been pretty amazing. But Aaron Judge is arguably the best player in the game right now. So where do you think we put him, Barnes?
Oh man, I think here's how I think it is. I think he's literally on that line of S and A. If there was somehow a tier in between those, he'd be right there. Put it this way, there's not many other guys I'd rather have close out a game than Holmes.
I say we put him in A for now.
Let's throw him in A. I think A is more than fair. I think S is a little greedy.
Like A plus level.
We can always change it later too. So we're gonna move things. We'll finish this and then we'll off camera take a look at it and see if we want to change anything. Next up is Clark Schmidt. Barnes. Looks like you're getting the hard ones, I guess. It's just the random order these are in.
Clark Schmidt. Man, Clark, there's a Twitter account I follow called Clark Schmidt's Nose. So I want to put it in S tier for the Twitter name alone, the meme account. But shout out to Clark Schmidt's Nose on Twitter. But right now, I think Clark Schmidt, I'd probably put him, I guess, this is tough. I feel like this is like a D. And I feel like it's almost being a little harsh on the guy. And he's kind of like almost like that mop-up reliever role. So it feels a little unfair to throw him in D, but I don't know. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I agree. He's only pitched in 14 games, so not huge sample size. The cool thing with Schmidt right now, and Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure when they send him back down in the minors, it's to stretch him out to become a starter. So I think they see a little bit more in him than just a reliever. So there's yet to be seen with Clark Schmidt, but for now, I think D is fair for him.
Yeah, I don't have that information actually right now, but I'll get back to that after we place Garrett Cole. And John, you have the honors of placing Garrett Cole. You looks like you're getting all the easy ones
This is garbage.
somehow.
Did I do something to make you mad, Derek?
No, I randomly, I didn't even look what order they were in. I just started. I don't know.
So yeah, I put Cole in the A spot. He's our ace, so that's a good spot to put him. Even games when he doesn't have his best stuff, he's coming out and giving you a heck of a performance. That's A worthy to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Schmidt, 2 games in the minors, both of them starts. So yes, there is that. I guess starter. I guess they're stretching them out in the minors. As starting 2 games out of 2, starting both your games in the minors, I would guess that figures you're getting stretched out to be a starter, or at least a multi-inning guy at the very least. Next up, I'm sorry, Barnes, to do this to you, but Michael King.
Michael King. Jeez. I'd say he's in the B tier. I think he's definitely pitching really well. He's serving as the setup man right now, and I think he's doing a great job of it. I feel like, definitely better than above average. So I think B is good.
Definitely. I don't think that one was as hard as we initially thought. The guy, he deserves it, a B. But he's coming in, set up man to Holmes, and he's been really reliable. And it looks here 2.27 ERA. So again, not giving up a lot of runs and pitching really well this year.
Next up, we're gonna go right back to John. He gets another easy one. Nestor Cortez.
Cortez. I mean, I don't know if it's so easy because I really put that on a borderline AB kind of level because he started the season so good, and now it's kind of the magic's not. He's still good, but not quite as good. Oh man, that's like a B plus, like A minus B plus level. Barnes, we got to figure this one out.
I agree. He started off so hot, and then he's starting to cool off a little bit. I think we're really seeing what he is. So I think let's throw him in B for right now. I think A is a little tough for him right now, especially because he's leveling off a little bit.
Yeah, that's that seems somewhat, especially if Cole is going to be an A. I can see Cortez being a B. Next up is Lucas Luetke, Barnes.
Dude, what the hell?
I swear to God, I didn't try to do this.
Luetke, and there are some games where I think he's really good. There's some games where I see him and he just looks average, and there's some games where he looks a little subpar. So I think C is pretty good. Who else do we have in C right now? That's Sears. Yeah, I'd say Luetke's right around Sears level. So I think that they're comparable.
Thoughts on that, John? You good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. Next up, another one for John. It is Luis Severino.
Another one like this, straddling that A minus B plus line. But I'm gonna go with the A minus. So let's put him in the A level because he's come out electric stuff, pitching really good. If he can get a little bit stronger as the season goes on, man, he's got good stuff. It's so hard to keep him out of the A level. What do you think, Barnes?
This is so frustrating because I feel like he's on the rise. So I feel like he's accelerating into that A for sure. A minus. He's on the tier break. Him and Cortez are the tier break. That's it's maddening. A's. Let's throw him an A for right now because we can adjust.
All right, next up, we're staying in the rotation because next up is Jameson Tyone. Barnes, where are you putting time? And I am going to say I'm so sorry for adding him to my fantasy team because as soon as I added him, he started pitching bad.
So you're the curse. So great.
It happened last year too. I swear to God, it happened last year too.
Hey, I said on the podcast, anywhere you can find those at Bleacher Brawls, Apple Pod, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. I am actually not a Tyone believer, and John is a Tyone lover. So I actually think Tyone is doing what I think he's doing, and I think that's a D. John, defend yourself.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely go for B. His last couple of starts have been rough, but I think he could bounce back. Oh man, this is a tough one, and I'm never gonna live down the Tyone lover comment.
Let's compromise. Let's put him in C. Let's compromise there.
That's
I said D.
fair-
You said B. Let's compromise.
Yeah, we'll compromise.
All right.
Tyone Lover.
Throw him in a C. I think C kind of seems about right. So it's that middle ground. You know, it was good to start the season. Slowed down a little bit lately. I feel like that sounds like some good.
I don't
middle
think that's
ground.
Tyone though in the picture.
Is it?
I don't know if it
know.
matters, but
It was the closest one, the one that looked like Tyone. So
Yeah, the Yankees look the same.
they all look.
for the most
That's
part.
the problem I had. They all look the same. Like there's like the tiny little facial features that you can barely tell. So guess
Hey.
what?
Shout out to Cortez mustache.
Yeah, and Derrik Cole's hair. Thank you very much. Thank you for being different.
Marginally.
Yeah. Next up, once again staying in the rotation, it is Jordan Montgomery.
Is this on me or is this on you?
It's on. I think it's on.
I'll take it.
John.
go
but
for it.
It doesn't matter.
I'll take it because we lost track of thought. No, we just did Tyone and I did that. But I'll take Montgomery as well, just to get an easy one. C. He's always steady. Montgomery, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get 6 innings. You're gonna get 3 runs or less from him. I think he's just steady always.
Yeah, ideally, he's not the guy starting the playoff game for us. So C level.
That's good. Yeah, the only defining feature on some of these guys' pictures is the undershirt.
Oh,
Like you look at Lukey and the C, how on his left side, the right when you're looking at it, the undershirt's
I
really
see
strong.
it.
That's like the only defining feature on any of these. So it gets a little hard to figure out who's who. But if only we could put labels on them, but unfortunately they don't have labels. Would be a lot easier. Next up, Jose Trevino. We'll go to John for this one for Jose Trevino. He's been good this year. He's a finalist for the starting catcher position at the All-Star game. Don't think he'll get it over Alejandro Kirk, but he still had a good year.
Yeah, Trevino has been really doing well this year. I've been you could, again, check out our website, bleacherbrawls.com, our podcast, Bleacher Brawls. I have been saying how important Jose Trevino is to this team. And the guy, again, almost an all-star. Again, I don't think he's going to make it, but he's in the conversation. So a B, absolutely a B. I mean, almost borderline B plus with what he's doing to really elevate this pitching staff.
Yeah, totally agree. I think defensively, he's calling a great game for those pitchers. And, I say he's like that B minus C plus borderline. I don't think he's quite at that B plus yet, but that mostly just due to his offense. But yeah, he's been having a stellar season, almost like out of nowhere, really.
I am being generous, and I openly admit to that, and I'm cool with it.
All right, well, we'll stick with Trevino on B, and like we said earlier, anything we can change it later. Next up, the guy with I think my favorite pitch mix on the team, and that's Jonathan Loizaga. So I'll go with Barnes. I know he hasn't necessarily played a whole bunch this year. So where's he gonna go?
He hasn't played a whole lot. So I guess giving him a 2022 like grade or a tier ranking is like kind of hard. So, but he's shown flashes in the past, but right now I think he's just a little inconclusive. So I'd put him in D right now, where we just really haven't seen much at him, kind of like Schmidt.
Yeah, he pitched a lot and then early on and then went down and haven't seen him again, but hopefully coming back. So when we do this again later at the end of the season, hopefully we're able to rank the guy higher.
I would love that.
Yeah, I love his pitch mix. Even as a Red Sox fan, I can still go out of my way and say, you know what, even though he plays for the Yankees, love his pitch mix. Don't like him against the Red Sox, but you know what, they gotta play the other teams too. So when he plays the other teams, even though I still want the Yankees to lose, I'll be like, I like watching him pitch. And that goes for any other team. Give me guys who have great pitches. I want to see them pitch. Just not against the Red Sox. Next up, though, is Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. It's a big offseason move, sort of, I guess, getting him and Josh Donaldson for Urshela and Gary Sanchez. And he's played a lot of shortstop this year, obviously. Which one of you guys wants to take him?
I'll jump in. I think he's done pretty well, and he's done what we've expected out of him. He hasn't set the world on fire, but he's been consistent. So, yeah, consistently average. Let's go with a C.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just, he is what you think he's going to be, and that's that. So I guess in total, like, comparison to Judge, he's, way lower, but for who he is and who he was brought in to be, C is completely fair in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. Next up is DJ LeMahieu. Obviously signed a, I guess, contract extension, but it was recently, was it, I think after 2020, I think it was. So the Yankees got him locked up, and where are you gonna put him, Barnes? Where is DJ LeMahieu gonna go?
I'm throwing him directly into B. No debate. I think that, his versatility alone earns him, being able to play literally any of the 4 infield positions. And he does well at all of those positions, game in and game out. He's what the Yankees need at that number 1 hole. Once he gets going, he's phenomenal.
Yeah, definitely. The thing with DJ LeMahieu, to get him at that S or A level, we have to see what he was a couple of years ago, and he's not really doing that right now. I did notice his on-base percentage is still pretty good, 362, which I think is 16th or 17th in the league. So he's still producing, just not at that DJ LeMahieu level we expect. So B is probably a really good place to put him.
All right. Next up, one of the big deadline acquisitions of last season, Anthony Rizzo.
A, absolutely an A for what he's done in that locker room alone, and the way he's really elevating that team. If Judge is the Don, he's the consigliere of that clubhouse. Anthony Rizzo, besides the 22 home runs or whatever it is now, yeah, his batting average might be a little low, but he's making up for an on-base percentage, making up for stellar defense, making up for in the clubhouse. He's an A.
Oh, yeah, totally agree. Ditto. Moving on. That was just so easy. Sorry. Like, Riz, I would love to talk about all the good things, but John just nailed it. Just
All right, next up is Miguel Castro. We'll go to Barnes here.
Man, Castro.
You get in all the relievers who aren't the back end guys.
Yeah, I know. It's just like he's in this weird middle ground where I don't think he's that good.
He's not back end, but he's not so bad that he's relegated to mop up duty.
Yeah, he's like that, like weird, like, this whoever can't make it out of the 6th inning, so throw him in to get those 2/3 outs. And man, I think he's a D. I don't really know like how I totally feel about him, but he's like putting him up with like Sears is definitely not fair. I think Loizaga is probably better, but I don't know. John, let me get your opinion on this one. Help me out.
Yeah, I guess D, because he's just a mop-up guy. You don't really see him in big spots.
Is he borderline F?
I was thinking the same thing. He might, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna put someone in F, let me see. Am I missing something off?
I feel like I would trust Clark Schmidt over Castro, and I feel like we've seen them a similar amount of time.
Yeah, I think Castro's ERA is actually 3.5, which isn't horrible, but it's one of the worst ones on the team. So I think, we move him down.
He's F.
Gotta be an F. Sorry, Miguel.
Someone's got to be an F.
It's like Sal Moore with the Red Sox. He's got like a 2.50 ERA, but every single runner that he gets from another pitcher scores. So even though he's got a great ERA, he's worse than the ERA actually shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
it sucks. Sorry, buddy.
Hey, it happens. Someone's got to go there.
You're on a great team.
Yeah. All right, let Barnes do the next one, because like I can see we're getting towards the end. You've gotten all the shit ones, so take Gleyber.
All right, you can get Gleyber Torres, Barnes.
Oh man, Gleyber Torres. What man is? I feel like he right now. Right now, July 5th of this recording, it feels like he's B minus. Like it almost feels like he's like sliding down, but I still feel like he's really solid in the middle.
So we're gonna go B.
What are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, I would go with B. I still think more of a B plus, because hasn't been great the past week or two, but tonight I don't know if you caught any of his at bats, but he smoked all 3 at bats I've seen. He smoked the ball each time. So I think he might be coming out of it again. Glaber, I heard a stat recently in one of those defensive metrics. I think it's defensive run save, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He went from the worst shortstop to now the second best second baseman. So huge step up defense. And look, he's had a lot of clutch hits too. Like he's been in rallies, had game winning hits.
Yeah.
So I think B plus is, I mean, it's B level either way. So I guess we're arguing over semantics here, but B plus for Glaber Torres, in my opinion.
Great.
Yeah, and you bring up defense, and we see a lot of shortstops who struggle defensively. They can still play second base well. I will bring up Trevor Story because Story's defense dropped last year in Colorado, seemingly with the arm issue, but his defense is back up at second base this year with the Red Sox. Because a lot of these shortstops, they're athletic enough to play a shortstop, but there's just that shortstop where they can't fully get that defensive production that the other shortstops are getting. But you put them at second base, and they can still be good defenders at second. And that's why you see a lot of shortstops move to second base. But next up, we have a guy who I didn't recognize at first because he played for the Red Sox last year and had a beard. But it's Marwin Gonzalez.
Off the team, bagging groceries. Nope. He was with the Asterisks. He had a heck of a season that year where they knew what was coming. No, I don't forgive him. Off the team. We could get someone else to play that role. And I know he's had a good week or two.
Dang, like you really just ruined him.
Yeah. I don't like that Astros team. I'll always be bitter. And if he's the guy I get to take it out on, he's the guy I take it out on.
Well, sorry, buddy. Hey, Marwin Gonzalez, I'm going to go to bat for you.
No, I got this. Banging.
Oh, banging trash cans.
Bringing trash bins.
Whew. Hey, you know what? In this case, now I think he should be bagging groceries. Just slide them up one. I think he's been great for us. It's a shame that you still hold that little bit of anger.
I got this. There we go.
That's fair. He hasn't been a horrible player. That's fair.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
All memes aside, he has been really solid as a utility player. So, but I respect the banging the trash can.
That was perfect, Doug. I don't know.
That's the hard part. I want to hate him a lot more, but yes, he has been a solid utility player.
Do you want to put him ahead of F? Do you want to put him ahead of F or below F?
No, he's fine where he is. There's still that. He's not forgiven.
All right. So that's Marwin Gonzalez. Next up is Kyle Higashioka.
You want me to jump in on this one?
Go for it.
Oh man, Higgy. I love the guy. I think he's very good defensively, and he gets overshadowed by Trevino because Trevino's been like lights out. But Higgy, I think, has actually been a little subpar because I think he's a little bit better known for having a little bit of power at the plate, and it just seems like he's not really delivering. So I'd say he's like right there in that like D or F category. I don't know, John. I'll let you decide that.
Yeah, I think F because I expected a couple more home runs out of him, and he's not really living up to that. Like last year, he would not have been an F, but this season, it's almost like he took a step back.
All right. Next up, Aroldis Chapman, former closer. Now, I don't know what he is anymore. Who wants to take Aroldis Chapman?
F. I mean, he's done nothing, and you can't trust him. You can't put him back in the closer role.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, every time I see Chapman and he goes up there, and I'm like, yeah, he is F, but I think he might be done. I think he's a bag boy now. I think he's bagging groceries.
I don't know if he's that bad. I think that bagging groceries we're gonna save first.
That's a little harsh. That's me being just angry.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna save it for someone that's gonna come up later, right?
Am I the Luke of the Yankees?
No, because Luke hates Bobby Dahlbeck. You would have to you would have to hate, like, I don't know who on here is like equivalent to Bobby Dahlbeck, who's young but struggles but does have hot streaks occasionally.
Yeah, we don't have that right now.
It's like Gleyber Torres. It's like Gleyber Torres of like the shortstop Gleyber Torres.
That's
you
fair.
would have to
Gary
hate
Sanchez.
him. Yeah, Gary Sanchez would work better. They both showed promise early, but struggle. No, that sounds about right. Aaron Hicks is next up. John, you want to take Aaron Hicks?
I wish he could be doing better because we have seen previous years. We've seen when Aaron Hicks was on the field anyway. We saw some flashes where he looked like he could be really good.
D tier.
D's fine. All right, cool. Because I was debating whether to give him an F, so I'll go with a D.
I really think that Hicks, when he gets going, and it's good for like a week and a half, and then he goes cold for 2 weeks, and then you get a week and a half. You're like, oh, he's coming out, and then he goes cold for 2 weeks.
Yeah, if he could just be that fourth outfielder where he maybe pinch hits for Higashioka late in the game, and then goes plays a defensive replacement in the outfield. Like that's his role on this team, but to be playing every day, he's
not an everyday guy.
Yeah. I like to say there's nothing wrong with being a role player. Teams need those guys, but sometimes that's just the guy's ceiling.
Especially at $10 million a year,
and you got to accept it sometimes. But there's still a spot for him on the team. I think D's all right for him. Next up is Chad Green.
We haven't seen him this year.
Exactly. That's the thing. He's on here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're kind of using that D tier slot as like, hey, we haven't really seen you do too much.
Inconclusive, basically.
Yeah.
D's are inconclusive tier, I guess. So yeah, we'll throw him a D.
I always liked Chad Green for the record. I always was a huge, like when he was the setup guy for a long time, I was like, dude, this guy is good.
He was something else, and he can get out of a jam too. He'd load the bases, but then get 3 strikeouts in a row. Man, you really want to make it interesting today.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Wandy Peralta.
Dude, he's pitched good. Like he's pitched really good. He'd be. I think he deserves it. He's been one of the top guys out of the bullpen.
Yeah, I think B is a little strong, but yeah, I think B or C. So yeah, let's leave him there for right now.
All right. Next up, are we gonna have our bag and groceries candidate? It's time for Joey Gallo. Where's he going?
Yeah, throw him at the bottom.
I think we all knew this is coming, right?
Listen, he's bagged more groceries than he's gotten hits this year. Like Jesus Christ, come on, man. Hit the ball.
Yeah, he's like the Matt Barnes version of a hitter. He gives you like Barnes gives you one outing out of the bullpen in a mop-up role where he like strikes out a guy and no one reaches base, and you're like, could this be the turn of a corner? And no, and it's the next outing gives up like 3 runs. Gallo hits 1 home run, and it's like, and he goes 2 for 4, and it's like, ooh, is something happening? And then the next game, it's like he strikes out 4 times in 4 at bats.
Gallo is a handicap. Like the Yankee, like a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, we're missing guys. We're doing it with a guy who's basically as useful as an injured guy. He's our handicap.
Who wants to play? Any of you guys want to go play for the Yankees? Either of you two?
I can strike out and shag flies, and I'll do it for like half of what he's doing it for. 5 million.
I'll do it for 1 million.
I'll do it for less than league minimum.
Yeah, that I would.
Yeah.
Next up is Giancarlo Stanton.
Go for it, Barnes. I got all the easy ones earlier.
Well, Stanton, but I'm harsh on Stanton, and I know that. But you know, I think this year he's been overall just better than we've seen him the last couple of years. So I want to say A.
I was thinking the same thing. You know, he's been cold, yeah. Like right now he's been cold. So you want to put him lower. But all in all, over 20 home runs, playing some pretty decent outfield. Like he's made some nice plays in right field.
Yeah, he's got some schlub.
Yeah. I put him in the A level.
Yeah, and I think it's big for him and the Yankees that he's not just stuck doing DH duty. I think that's huge. Just so you know, you can get a little bit of rotation. You know,
he's
at the DH spot.
He's also just striking out less. Like he doesn't look clueless at the plate like he did like the last 2 years where he was just waving the bat at these balls. I mean, I think Joey Gallo took that pressure off him. Maybe that's why. maybe Gallo is the reason Stanton's doing better.
Yeah, as we're talking about this, I had that same thought. Like Brian Cashman just like brought this guy in to take all the heat off of Giancarlo Stanton. Like a lot of fans forgot how much they didn't like Stanton. I've always liked Stanton. I didn't think he deserved the hate he was getting, but maybe that's it. It was like, hey, let's bring in Joey Gallo, and people will forget how much they want to boo Giancarlo Stanton.
There's always that one guy at work that everyone hates. You need a common enemy, Gallo. Boom. Thanks for taking one for the team, buddy.
And to be fair, I think part of the reason Stanton necessarily isn't like too is that's a massive contract, and the guy who's in the S tier right now doesn't have a contract after this year. So I don't think that necessarily helps Stanton's cause with fan likability, I guess. But yeah. Next up, we got the penultimate player here, Ron Marinaccio.
Local guy from New Jersey. Come on, man. Oh, yeah, you know what, Barnes? That's your spot. You got to answer this one.
Oh, man. I think Marinaccio has been phenomenal. He hasn't been lights out. Let's be real. He hasn't been lights out. I think he's been way above average. So I think he's like that C range. I don't think we've seen enough of him yet. I think we've seen enough to say that, hey, he's pretty good. He belongs to the major leagues, but I think in the future, in a year or two, B tier for sure. Future B tier guy. But right now, C.
I hope so, man. I mean, he's living the dream. Grow up a Yankees fan, now get to pitch for him. Dude, like, I hope nothing but for the best for this kid.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid growing up, who wouldn't want to play for their favorite team? I mean, regardless of what sport it is. You know, if you have a favorite team and you get to play for them, that's a lifelong dream. And the fact that it's not like he's just like been terrible. He's been pretty good for the Yankees as well. You know, that's literally living a lifelong dream. All right, last up here, someone who's been a little controversial this year. Is he liked in the clubhouse? Maybe, maybe not. Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, I'm fine for having him bag groceries. I was kind of hoping he would have got suspended for a little bit longer. Go figure. This is the 1 year this guy doesn't hurt his back. I mean, I don't like the guy. Again, Twitter, BleacherBrawls.com, podcast. I've been saying it since the start. Since the Yankees have got this guy, I don't like him bagging groceries.
Get him out. Done with him.
Now, question: would you guys rather keep Gallo on the roster over Donaldson? Because I know Gallo's been playing bad, but he doesn't seem to bring as much controversy to the team.
I'd rather have Gallo. That was hard to say.
Yeah, like I dislike Donaldson that much. He's been fielding the ball okay at third, but I don't like the guy.
Gallo, at the very least, is a very likable guy, and everyone on Twitter is going to go, "Oh, we want Joey Gallo to be good because he's a good guy." So I'll give him that. I'll take a good guy for the locker room over just some jerk who's also bad at baseball.
Yeah, and making $25 million, which is I think we went over it last week in the Yankees video, saying like, was there a way the Yankees didn't have to trade for Donaldson to get Kiner Falefa? Because I know the Rangers didn't want Gary Sanchez. That's why they had to wait till they went to the Twins. But did you have to trade Urshela and get Donaldson back? You know, obviously, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. But I mean, with the stuff Donaldson had previously had with Cole last year, it didn't seem like it was going to be a fit necessarily from the start.
Maybe they just anticipated that he would get hurt. Like, he gets hurt every year. Like, okay, we'll deal with this guy for the first 2 months of the season, and
then we'll have Andahar.
What was that?
Oh, Donaldson will get hurt, and we'll have Andahar.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wish.
Crap.
Yeah. Okay, could we throw out Matt Carpenter while we're at it? I know he's not on the picture list, but Barnes, where would you want to jump off of Carpenter?
Oh man, Carpenter's tough for me. I really like him and what he does for the team. I just feel like, you know, we haven't seen enough of him as a positional player, as opposed to a pitcher where it's like, they might only get a few innings here and there, but I feel like Carpenter's been on the team long enough where we haven't really seen what he can do. If he comes out strong, I feel like he doesn't drop a beat when he's in the box or on the bases, like playing defensively. So I want to say C is fair, but I understand if you probably want to rank him a little higher.
Yeah, I think I was thinking that. Like as you're saying it, I'm like, oh man, those are some good points. Like maybe like D plus, C minus, kind of like that borderline there. So C is a good place to rank him. I do think his mustache deserves an A, unquestionably.
S
And
tier.
if
We
could
can
get
identify him.
yeah.
I can identify him. I don't have to try and when I was putting this together and I was making sure that the guys, what I had everyone's name for the right picture, and I'm like looking at this, I'm like trying to go through the pictures, like I said earlier, you can barely tell the difference between a couple of guys. And like some of them, like one difference for someone was like the length of their neck in the picture, or like the shape of their ears. It's like the tiniest things. So that mustache would make it a little bit easier to figure out who he is. No, but yeah, we're gonna chat. We're gonna chat for a little bit off camera, see if we want to move anything. If not, and we'll be back with the final results and show you guys what this looks like. All right, we changed one thing. So as the umpires now do, after review, we have decided that Clay Holmes belongs in the S tier instead of the A tier, so he has been moved to the S tier. That's the umpire's call, I guess. I think, and I kind of told you guys the point that I made was, Judge's MVP, but Clay Holmes is having a reliever of the year season so far. And he's probably been one of the best, if not the best closer in baseball. So I think S tier makes sense. You have the best position player pretty much in baseball. Probably the MVP favorite, and then the guy who you can make the argument for is the reliever of the year candidate favorite. So those are both an S tier. Everything else remains the same. Overall thoughts. I'll go to John first. Overall thoughts on the whole tier list.
I thought this was a lot of fun. This is a cool thing to do. I enjoy spending my night talking to you guys about this and ranking these guys out. I think we were really fair about it. You could tell kind of by saying, you can tell by the pattern. I think it shows that we were fair and spread things out. I don't know, Barnes, what do you think?
Yeah, no, phenomenal time. I think we did a pretty good job as an unofficial tier lister myself. I usually rank Halloween candies. So this was a treat for me as well.
Yeah, I think we're a lot more fair than Luke in the tier list y'all were doing.
The one that Jeremy and I did.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Luke's tier list is Judge would be C at best. Cole would be banging the trash bin, which I get. But.
For the Red Sox, Luke's would be John Schreiber, godly above the S tier.
Like if
you haven't seen Luke's tweets on John Schreiber, go look him up.
Oh, please. He's just rehashing Chuck Norris jokes.
I know. Well, no, but the amount of them is the most ridiculous thing ever. Because John Schreiber got 4 outs against the Rays, and Luke just started going crazy. You guys can do that for Clay Holmes though. As Clay Holmes is in the S tier. You guys can go do that for Clay Holmes if you want. Get a little revenge, I guess. But that's gonna wrap this one up. Thanks for checking out this Yankees roster tier list. Make sure to check out the description, check out all the links, the website, the podcast, the Instagram, the Twitter, plus all of the crew's Twitters are down there. If I remember, I will leave the link to the tier list if I remember that, but I cannot guarantee I'll remember it. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell while you're down there so you know when we post. Monday through Friday, videos all those days. Monday is our weekly Red Sox show. Tuesday is our non-baseball sports show. Wednesday is our prospect pipeline. Thursday, it's just whatever we want to cover in the MLB. And then Friday is obviously this Yankees show. So we're excited for that. Thanks for tuning in. For John and Barnes, I'm Derek. You've been watching Bleacher Brawls, and we'll see you next time.